Alright, I want to go over the, let's go over the tier list a little bit, okay? So this will not be a big thing, since I've already made a video on YouTube. If you're interested, like, for my full thoughts when I created this tier list yesterday, check out my YouTube channel. Everything that you need to know is there. But this is basically it. This is what I ended up with. And there are a few surprises, and I'm going to talk about the surprises there. Some people have pointed out that Zeku does not belong where he belongs. So horizontally, this is also organized. So from left to right, strongest to weakest, okay? So Seth is strongest, then Zeku. This is what I put in there. A lot of people disagree because Akuma is not top 2. He's top 3. Wow. I do think Zeku beats Akuma on multiple fronts where he's just the better character because he has a lot more flexibility when it comes to the playstyle that he wants to apply. I think he's better than Akuma. Not by much, but he's better. Seth, in my opinion, the undisputed number 1. Too much bullshit that you cannot do anything against. Essentially, you have to be lucky against Seth. Every gamble situation is in his favor. That's very powerful. Next up, what else is surprising to some people? I think G not being in S tier. Why do I think G is not in S tier? I think G is a very powerful character, happens to be a powerful character. It's a character that I complain about a lot, but he does have weaknesses. He particularly struggles against aggressive characters, and aggressive characters happen to be very strong in Street Fighter V. That by itself makes it very difficult to justify G being one of the top dogs. He does get a free comeback potential, but sometimes, and this is where G's weakness comes into play, G sometimes has to make a sacrifice between the reversal to stay alive, or take a guess for the game in order to keep the crazy comeback potential. And in this regard, you can basically, in a lot of cases, just steamroll G before he gets started. Ryu can't do that, which is why the matchup is so difficult for Ryu, but Akuma, for example, certainly can. So that's an interesting one where people were like, oh, like Jimmy complains a lot about G all the time, why is he not S tier? So next up, Guile. Let's talk about Guile for a second. I think Guile is a character that I think a lot of people think Guile is powerful when they see these YouTube highlights where everything works. He has a 2-frame parry. Wow, so powerful. Parry so powerful. Ryu is top tier because of it, right? Now, like, for real, he has a powerful parry because it doesn't have recovery and it's 2 frames. It's pretty good, but it's still just a gamble tool. If you're wrong on the gamble, you're gonna die. It's not good. It's not good enough to, like, say that this is a good character because of it. Guile is not a good character because he has a parry. That's just not going to happen. Got a little bit of lag. But yeah, think about Guile in one thing that comes to mind when I explain why I think Guile is weak is Retribution. Retribution seems like a very powerful tool at first, but if you think about it, it's just combo routes with extra conditions that you have to meet. If you play Akuma, you do not have to meet any conditions to make it, to get good conversions. But Guile does have to do that. So yeah, sometimes you'll see these crazy conversions because everything aligns properly, and then you do damage and Oki and you get everything, right? But you have to meet those conditions first. And this is like my critique for Retribution. It's just a shitty way, or it's just combo ability with extra limitations. So I think it's actually not that strong compared to other characters. Okay, what else? I think the most controversial pick, though, is Vega. I think a lot of people didn't see that coming, that I'm gonna put Vega this low. And honestly, I can see anyone putting Vega either in D, C, or B. I could totally see why anyone would argue that. Ryu beats Vega, for example, slightly, but that's not the reason why I put Vega there. I think out of the characters, especially the ones in C tier, he is particularly bad as a counterpick. I don't think you can effectively counterpick with Vega. And on top of that, he's, let's say, similarly strong to the C tier characters. I don't think he's generally that much weaker than them. But like Sagat, for example, you can't effectively use him as a counter pick. You can use a character like Jury or Fang. Fang is a good example of a character that has a lot of surprise factor to him, which is why he deserves to be in C tier. So keep in mind, like, a tier list is, at the end of the day, is supposed to show how effective can you use this character at a tournament. And the answer that I came up with for Vega is not very effective. So yeah, that's basically the thought process. Zangief, I just don't think Zangief is strong at the moment. Zangief is not that bad against Ryu. It's kind of funny. Ryu actually does struggle against him if we just don't have a lot of strong Zangief players to show that. The answer is Bolt Strike. What do you think the problem with Sagat is? He zones, and zoning isn't strong, and he doesn't have much more than that. So at the end of the day, what ends up happening is he's gonna get jumped in on once and dies. EX Unspect. I put G in A tier. I just explained why. He has issues on defense. He can get steamrolled against powerful offensive characters, which is actually a problem. People like to think that's not a problem, but it is a problem because in a lot of cases he has to make a decision. Do I die from this mix-up, or do I V-reversal and then lose my crazy comeback potential? So yeah, this is why I don't think he's a strong character, but yeah, he has its own problems. So yeah, I think those are like some of the controversial picks that I put in there. But yeah, that's like, I want to commentate on a couple of things that I've commonly seen on my channel, by the way. Like, when I made the video yesterday, a lot of comments were specifically about Vega, Sagat, Zangief, Zeku, obviously, and G. So I want to cover those.